Hi, let's talk carpentry. Today we want to look at how to make a sink cupboard, and this is a typical example of a customer that wanted a sink cupboard in a bachelor's apartment, a small bachelor's, those bedrooms. So first things first, you need to know the type of sink a customer wants to install. In this scenario, a customer wanted to put a single sink, kitchen sink. It only has one, should I say, one bowl. Um, it's not a double, it's just a single. So when it is a single, mostly a standard size that I've worked with, it starts from 850 to 900 or 1000 millimeters. It depends on how big the sink is, but most of the times I've seen 900. So which means your cupboard on its own, it needs to be more than 900. So given the space that was there and what was needed to be put, it was feasible for me to put a cupboard that was 1150 millimeters, which is more than 900 as a standard size of the sink. Right. So first things first is, according to our previous videos, you need to measure and do all these things. Then you go on a paper and design. This is a manual way of doing things where you draw the whole plan. Those who do technical drawing, they'll tell you that this is something like a three-dimensional drawing, 3D drawing, but you can also do with the software. There's AI these days. All right. Now, when you are uh, 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 designing your cupboard, every information that is there, everything that you see that is there, it's according to customer's preference. The customer wanted something that looks seamless. He didn't want to see the doors from the side. The customer wanted one shelf inside, and the customer also wanted two doors. As simple as that. So now you can see that now we have 1150. That is the total cupboard. Now we want to do the first stage of making a whole carcass, a whole frame. What are we going to do? Now we have 1150. We know that these are the side panels, the outside panels. The outside panels, you subtract 16 because every board that you'll be using, a standard board for melamine chipboard, it's 16. Some they're 18. It depends with which one you want. So on this scenario, I'm using a 16 millimeter thickness of a board. So you say 1150 subtract 32 because there are two boards here so that you can have a whole dimension, the ultimate dimension of the cupboard inside. So now we know that if I subtract this from 32, I'm gonna get 1108 millimeters. Now, because I want to make a cutting list, I'm now dissecting each and every plank that I want. For example, I know that I need cleats here and at the bottom and also behind here, because this thing is going to be attached to the wall. I know that I need a shelf. I know that I need inside side panels. I know that I need a bottom panel. I know that I need doors. These are the things that you need to make a whole cupboard. All right. Why do we have cleats? Because we didn't do any bottom cupboards. This is a bottom cupboard. Why is it not closed here? It's because you are going to put a top. on top of these things. Some they're gonna put quartz, some they might put granite, some they might put what's called a formica countertop, which is a wood. All right. Anyways, let's move on. Now, when I am now knowing that my whole cupboard from inside it's 1118, now I'm removing 32 millimeter again so that I can have a length of planks that are going to be inside. Because why am I putting the planks inside instead of putting them on top? As in, what am I trying to say? That the way I'm putting screws from the side. I'm not putting screws from the top. It's because you need, as a carpenter, you need to hide as much screws as possible so that it has a good aesthetics, good finish, and a good look. All right. So now this is a way of me doing the cupboard and putting it together. So I would want to put things inside, and the side panels they'll come and sandwich them. All right. So 1118 subtract 32. It will give us, I cannot see where I wrote, but it will give us 1086. 1086. If you subtract 1118, it's going to give you here, the shelf inside is going to be 1086, and the cleats, they're going to be also 1086. All right. Now I know that I have 1086 that I need to put inside. How big is the cupboard? The depth. If you see here, we are saying the big side panel, outside panel, is 750. I mean 570. The inside is 560. A standard cupboard, bottom cupboard, it has to be below 600 millimeters. Why? Because most of the, especially when you are using a formica countertop, it comes in the depth of 600. So every cupboard that you be doing, it has to be below 600. So for this instant, I know that I'm going to, in overall, I'm going to cover 570, and I'm going to have a small gap that is going to be left of 30 millimeters, which is good. You won't want to have a smaller cupboard. You will want to have a bigger cupboard that will be at the brim of the formica top. So you need a discrepancy of just, probably some people they put 50. In this instance, some they put 50, some they put 50, 590, and they just leave a 10 millimeter gap. Anyways, so now we know this is how it is, the layout. Now we know that number one, I want cleats. How many cleats do I want? I want 4 cleats. These things they will help you when you, especially when you are putting a formica top, to screw in so that the top doesn't come off. So you use these cleats as you put a screw attached to the top, and it will close all the gaps. All right. So number one, number two, number three, there's a cleat behind here. That cleat that is behind here is the one that is going to be used to attach to the wall. Right. Then we have also a bottom cleat. You also use it to attach the cupboard to the wall for strength and for the structure not to bend. So this also help the structure of the cupboard not to have a disfigure or to bend in any form. It will be as straight as, now that's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's why we have this cut list here, which is 1086 by 100. So the thickness of it is going to be 100. All right. Then we go to the shelf. Shelf and the bottom panels are of the same size. So you know that I need two here. I need two. So it's 1086 by 550 because this is the depth of the inside cupboard. So you are going to say 1086 by 550. Two of them, these are the ones. So you know that you have a bottom panel and a shelf also. Now you see that you need side panels, the inner side panels. We have 550, and also if you see here, it's 768. This is the height of the cupboard without the legs, all right, or the skirting. Other people, they'll put skirting. So I know that the height of my cupboard is going to be 768 by 550, right? There are two here. Then you come here and put the outer side panels. Outer side panels, like we always explain in previous videos, you add 16 millimeter to 18 millimeter of the thickness of the board, because the door, when it closes, is going to have a gap here. So to cover that gap and have a nice finished design, that is the purpose of these outside panels. All right, so you say, for you to have this dimension, you say 550, excuse me, 550 plus 16, actually it has to be 576 here. Sorry about my calculations. It has to be 576, right? So when you come to the cutting list, you are saying 768 by 576. 576. It's not 570, it's 576. 568, 568 or 566, not 570. Please forgive me for my calculations there. Forgive me for my calculations there. So it's 550 plus 16 millimeters. 16 millimeter, it's going to give you 6 here, 566 or 568. It depends on which one makes you feel comfortable. You know, when it comes to carpentry, not everything that you need to do on point. Sometimes you need to put a leverage, because you know sometimes the hinges that you'll be using, they might be thicker and all those things, you know. So my two side panels, I know I have 768 by 568. All right, now everything is set and you know that you have everything. On the bottom, you are going to put a skirting of 100 millimeters by 110 millimeter by 1.2. Why did I put 1.2? Because you need to cut and put into size depending on what you see fit. So always, as a skirting, you don't, for me, what makes me feel comfortable is you don't let the supplier cut it to the size, but rather you cut it yourself and see how it will look. Sometimes if you put right at the edge here, it won't look nice, or maybe the space underneath. Everything can happen, especially when you are dealing with the floors. So you need to always have bigger skirting clips. All right, some they use legs on this. For this example, you use legs of 100 millimeters, adjustable if you want. Then they come to 110. Then when you put those legs, then you close with also the same clit. All right, then you see here we said masonite. Masonite is the backboard of the cupboard. So masonite, if you see here, it's excuse me, it's 1118 by 768. It's going to cover here at the back, right? Cover here the whole back of the cupboard inside, from this end to that end, then from this end going downwards, which is 768. All right. Formica, the one that we were talking about, Formica, it's going to be, it comes in standard size of 2,400 by 600 or 3.6 by 600. So in this case, you don't even need a bigger one, because you're just gonna cut only 1 meter and the other half is going to be an offcut. All right. So doors, let's talk about doors. Doors, you are going to use hinges, full overlay. We call them full overlay, 0 degrees. You don't need half overlay or the inset lace. So you are going to use what's called full lay hinges, either soft close. It depends with your budget, the ones that you are going to use. And the doors here, when you are calculating the doors on this instance, you are going to say 1118 divided by 2, then it gives you, I believe it gives you 557. And when you subtract also with the millimeters that we always talk about, so that they don't have to clash on each other, it derives us to come to a point where it is 557 each door, by 768 from this end to that end. That is the height. So we know that we have our 2 doors. The other things, accessories that you need 4 hinges for this door and the other door here. You need 2 handles and you need legs. And after that, you would have done a whole cutting list.